Hello everyone. In this video we are going to see the exploratory data analysis of sports dataset which contains data of Indian Premier League. Now I have imported basic libraries and then I loaded the datasets deliveries and matches. Now deliveries dataset tells about each delivery which has been bowled in the IPL, and matches tell about all the matches which have been played till date. Now looking at preliminary analysis, if we look at the result column, we can see that 743 games have normal results, while 9 resulted in tie and 4 resulted in no result, that is the match was abandoned. If we look at the Duckworth-Lewis, in 19 matches Duckworth-Lewis was applied. Now if we see here that toss winner is match winner, that is if a team wins the toss and elected to field, 9 times they won the match if Duckworth-Lewis was applied, and only 1 time after electing to bat the team won the match. Now if we look here that if a team decided to bat after winning the toss and Duckworth-Lewis was applied, they lost the game 5 times, but they lost the game only 4 times if they elected to field. Now moving forward, let's look at the teams as a whole. So it gives us the count of teams for team 1 and team 2. If we combine them, we get the total matches played by each team. If we plot it, we can see the total number of matches played by each team. Now these 4-5 teams towards the end have played few games because they have been included in only few of the seasons. Now after match, let's see how many seasons a team has played. From here we can see the season count and match count for each team which has played in the IPL. So we can see for these 5 teams the seasons are only 1, 2 and 3. So let's see the average games played by team in each season. So this graph gives the total season count and the average matches per season. So we can see that the good performing teams like Mumbai Indians, Chennai Super Kings have higher average number of matches per season. Now let's look at the wins and losses for team. So this graph gives us the wins and losses for each team. We can see that the good performing teams like Mumbai Indians and Chennai have much higher wins than the losses. This graph gives us the win percentage and loss percentage for each team. Now let's see how the toss affects a team's performance. So we can see how many times a team has won the toss, and after winning the toss whether the team has won or the team has lost. So we can see here that after winning the toss what has been the win percentage for a team. So we can see for teams like Mumbai Indians, Kolkata Knight Riders, Chennai Super Kings, after winning the toss their chances of winning has been quite high, and they have lost much fewer matches after winning the toss. That is, their decision after winning the toss has been good. Now let's see here that if a team loses, what has been its win percentage, and if a team loses the toss, what has been its loss percentage. So we can see here that the good performing teams like Mumbai Indians and Chennai Super Kings, even after losing the toss, have high win percentage. And for that matter, even Sunrisers Hyderabad has performed quite good even after it has lost the toss. Now let's see what has been the decision of teams after they have won the toss. So if we see here, this table gives us the decision of choosing to bat or decision of choosing to field after winning the toss, and what has been the percentage for it, and what has been the winning percentage if they have decided to bat or if they have decided to field. Let's see it through the graphs. Now after winning the toss, the blue bar gives us the percentage that a team has decided to bat, and orange bars give us the percentage when the team has decided to field. So we can see that most of the teams have decided to field after winning the toss, and only few teams like Chennai Super Kings, Deccan Chargers and Pune Warriors have preferred to bat after winning the toss. Now this graph gives that if a team has decided to bat, what has been its win percentage, and if a team has decided to field, what has been its win percentage. So we can again see that if a team has decided to field, the winning percentage has been higher. That is, the teams prefer to chase in T20, and the results are also better if a team is chasing in T20 game. Now let's look at the players. So here it gives us the number of times a player has been awarded player of the match. We can see it through the graphs of top 20 players who have been awarded the player of the match award. Now let's look at the deliveries data set also. Now first look at the batsmen. So we get deliveries, the matches played, what has been their dismissal kind, and what has been the batsman's total runs, average runs per match, average runs which is dependent on total runs divided by the dismissals, and what has been its strike rate. Now the data we get is here, and we can see the record about any batsman here. For example, if we look at Virat Kohli, his dismissal mode, we can see he has been caught out 95 times and bowled 30 times, ran out 15 times. Total dismissals have been 152. So I have avoided looking at each player and have looked at features as a whole. So here let's see the total runs scored by each batsman. See, this graph shows the total runs scored by top 25 batsmen over the period of IPL. Now it's also important to see the average runs per match. So we can see here that the opening batsmen like David Warner, Chris Gayle, or the top order batsmen like Kohli, De Villiers have relatively higher average because they get to bat in more number of matches. Now let's also look at the average runs, which is based on total runs divided by the dismissals. Now we can see that the graph has somewhat changed because the lower order batsmen don't get out frequently and their average has been quite good. For example, MS Dhoni has better average runs than Kohli. Now let's look at the strike rates of batsmen. We can see AB de Villiers, Chris Gayle and Virendra Sehwag have quite good strike rate. We can see the dismissal mode of different batsmen here, like whether they were caught, whether they were bowled, whether they were run out. Surprisingly, Dhoni has relatively higher runouts, maybe because he comes lower down the order, so to score quick runs he takes risky runs. The mode of dismissal LBW for different batsmen, whether they have been stumped, like we can see Suresh Raina, Uthappa, Raidu have been stumped many times, that is they tend to move outside the crease many a times. This graph tells about the caught and bowled dismissal. Now this graph tells us about how many times a batsman has been dismissed in the matches and how many times it has remained not out. So we can see like batsmen Dhoni, Pathan, Jadeja, who come lower down the order, have relatively higher not out. Now let's look at the non-striker also. Their role is important while running. So we can see who has been on the non-striker while the batsman was run out. So this gives us a picture of relatively risky non-strikers while taking the run. We can also look at the fielders who have been involved in the dismissals. This graph gives us the involvement of fielder in the dismissals. Now let's look at average dismissal, that is the dismissal rate per match. So we can see that players like Dhoni, Karthik, Gilchrist, Sangakkara have relatively higher average dismissal rate, even Saha and Ojha. And we can also see that they have been wicket keepers. It means that wicket keepers have been quite actively involved in dismissals during the IPL. Now let's look at the bowlers also. So this data gives us the deliveries, the matches played. These are the extra runs given by a bowler, wide runs, no ball runs. These are the dismissals claimed by a bowler. It tells us the total runs leaked by the bowler, and it tells us its economy and the strike rate. Now if we look at the graph, so it gives that how many matches a player has played and how many wickets he has taken. So we can see for Malinga, Bravo, Bhuvneshwar Kumar, the wickets taken have been relatively higher in comparison to the matches played by them. Now let's also see at the average dismissals per match. We can also see here that Malinga, Bravo, Bhuvneshwar Kumar, Sunil Narine, Ashish Nehra, Yuzvendra Chahal have relatively higher wickets taking rate per match. Now if we look at the average overs bowled, we get to know which bowler has been preferred over the years. So we can see here that like Ashwin, Harbhajan Singh, Malinga, Sunil Narine, Bhuvneshwar Kumar, of Stein, Saeed Khan, these bowlers have been preferred over the years. And since we know that IPL allows only 4 overs per match per bowler, some bowlers have relatively higher average overs per match, touching almost 4 or even over 4. It may be because they have bowled many extra deliveries, or they may have bowled in super overs during the match. Now let's see if they have bowled extra deliveries. Now if we look here, we can see that Malinga has bowled quite a lot of extra deliveries due to wides and no balls. Now if we see average number of extras given by a bowler during a match, we find that Sean Tate gives quite high number of extras per match. Now it gives us the strike rate. So the lower the strike rate, it means that a bowler requires less number of deliveries to take a wicket. So we can see Malinga, Nehra, Bravo have quite low strike rates, that is they take wickets within few balls. Now this graph gives us the economy rates. So we can see that Harbhajan Singh, Ashwin, Malinga, Sunil Narine, Dale Steyn have quite good bowling economies, while some players have quite high bowling economies. Please do suggest improvements in this workflow, and thanks for watching.